Good morning, everyone, and happy President's Day. It is Monday, February 15th, and this is Nadex Morning Analysis. My name is Todd Rich. I am with Nadex, and with me, as usual, is my good friend Brian Caprice from Keep Trading Simple. Before Brian and I talked briefly about some foreign exchange opportunities that we could look at for today, but I think it's going to be more interesting to talk about what we can tee up for later this week, just things to keep your eye on. I do need to share this disclaimer that trading involves risk, may not be appropriate for everyone, that any trading decisions you make are solely your responsibility and at your own risk. And please, this is an educational session. Do not construe anything Brian or I say as a buy or sell recommendation. We are doing this for your education purposes. Now, I'm going to tee this up before I flip it over to Brian, because I'm trying to think about news this weekend. We didn't really have, a lot of news. I think the big news, really, let's see, one, at least we can put the impeachment behind us in the U.S. A majority voted for convicting him, but they didn't get the 66%, the 2/3. But at least now Congress can start focusing on something that's,
the budget, maybe.
More, yeah, let's start cleaning up this mess.
We got it. We got 1.9. But what are we gonna do?
let's start solving that. So that's actually going to be rather important. The other news, I guess we'll take it as good news, but it's around the coronavirus. We're going, oh great, we now have less than 100,000 cases every day. That sounds great, because that means that this third surge is starting to wane a little bit, but that's still a number. Every 11, 12 days, another 1 million people in the United States are still getting this thing. And it appears that the reason that it's starting to wane isn't so much from the vaccines, which are wonderful, but it's because it is
the holidays.
It's brutally cold out.
As long as we have no holidays, we're good.
It's brutally cold out, and people are following instruction.
Yeah, we got a layer of ice over everything right now.
It's I can't go outside for 30 seconds here in Chicago.
And even Texas. My sister's in Texas, and she's like, I don't want to leave the house. It's it's like freezing temperatures here. Plants are getting frozen over. They don't know what to do. Global warming,
So, it's coming at a time where we can at least try to quash this third wave. Hopefully, we can get ahead of this thing with the. So there's some good news.
I always said the best way to cure it would be like 2 feet of snow, because no one will leave their house for like 10 days and it just won't spread. It's one of those things.
Hey, if we did that
2
around
feet
the
of snow,
whole
we'll solve everything.
If everyone in the globe
exactly
stayed in their house,
lock them down
for 14 days, the whole world stayed inside for 14 days, we'd kill the entire virus.
If we did that in the beginning, it would have worked, but now we're here a year later.
It would have even worked now. All right, so here's what we're seeing today. Let's focus on today. We're seeing pound strength. The pound is continuing to gain strength against the U.S. dollar. It's nice to see that they're making some type of recovery. I think that actually has to do with things are starting to look a little bit better in the UK. We're seeing yen weakness. So I'm going to flip it over to Brian. Before I flip it over to Brian, I do love to point out the Daily FX website. This is where we get a lot of our news, and they also have this really cool, if you go to dailyfx.com, they have these calendars, economic calendars, central bank calendars, and I'm just taking a look for the next 7 days. And I've even got it set for only high and medium importance, and I've picked the regions that I want to see. There's not a whole lot, but Wednesday, this Wednesday, Feb 17, we're going to be seeing some numbers. We're going to be seeing some numbers coming out of the UK around inflation, and we've been talking a whole lot about inflation and waiting to see how that's going to impact economic recovery, and it's actually something people are kind of wanting to see. Then in the US, we're going to have our inflation. Canada's going to have their inflation numbers, and then there's a bunch of economics numbers coming out in the US. So Wednesday is going to be an interesting day. Keep an eye out. You can come take a look at what the forecast, what the previous number was, and you can see when these announcements are coming out. And you can, we talk a lot about event trading. There might be some opportunities. I'm sure Brian and I'll talk about it more tomorrow. But with that, I just want to kind of tee up this session. Brian, you want to talk a little bit about pound strength and yen weakness?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the easiest way to look at this is trying to get that, 50,000 foot view over it. And you can see things like the pound dollar up 55. You can see the pound yen up 122, that kind of purpose of one strength, one weakness. You're seeing euro pound down about 23, 24, which again, slower volume. You're going to see that one. I wouldn't really say, people see the dollar yen as our dollar strength, and it's not so much that you're seeing that kind of, fade back and forth. But for the most part, pound strength story, and there's been some news in here. You can see down here, we start talking about the sterling is continuing to run higher. You're seeing some optimism over here. The end of the UK lockdown. Again, I don't know if you guys heard this weekend that they're vaccinating people. They're going to start reopening their schools. All the numbers are looking great for the pound, so it's all positive signs, and that's really the only news that we have so far today, which is leading that higher. Now the yen, again, the yen is the weak one, obviously, and today's kind of a strange day for the yen because the U.S. market open. Actually, the U.S. greater Chinese market are both closed, so there's a lot of money off the table today. And that's what's leading to the yen weakness so far. I mean, it's not like there's been any great news. There's going to be some, tertiary. Tertiary, nothing. It's not really news driven. It's the fact that we're just closed down. It removes a lot of the oomph from anything yen based. So all movement we do see currently right now will most likely retrace. This is just positioning when there's no market players out there.
And when you say also, that, it's not just the U.S. that's down right now. It's China's closed too, aren't they?
Yeah, China's closed as well. Yep. Yeah, I mean, for the Chinese New Year, everything pretty much comes to a halt over there. I don't know if you guys have ever tried anything. Being a youth sport commissioner, we have to do orders, and right now the big question is, all right, when is it going to be produced or shipped? Because everything is shut down over there. It's crazy. Like for our holidays, it's like a day, right? We don't really have the equivalent of we're going to shut down production for 7 days. That happens a lot over there for production wise. And again, their stock market, obviously, affects it. Wanted to show one thing also real quick, Todd. I did get a question, and I love the questions, guys, when you email them to me. Someone asked me what news sites I use, particularly because I keep mentioning news trading. I don't know if you guys can see this or not. You guys can see my cursor in the upper right-hand corner right now. If you guys look in the bottom left-hand corner, there's this button that pops up over here. You can actually get notifications sent to yourself if you're not sure, I love the trade news, but I don't check it all the time. I have a job. I got to work. You guys can go to DailyFX, this right here, and, even mention that notifications are based on filters, which are adjusted via the economic webinar calendar pages. So you can go here, set things that you want. Maybe you just want high importance news, and you can do whatever countries that you want. And then again, you can set your economic news events and get a live notification when these things are coming out. Because I always get that. I'd love to trade that, but I always miss them, right? But you guys can get notifications through DailyFX. And that's something that, Forex Factory doesn't do as good a job with, but DailyFX does an excellent job with it. So let's go into charts now. I want to talk about a couple different small setups right now. So I was kind of refining this one down. So you can see this is the 4-hour chart. You can see, and actually just a little bit more. There you go. You guys can see in the last, really a couple days here, we've had a very decent run up in the pound dollar. Right, it's pushed straight up into a level that we talked about, and again on the daily, you can see that this is where it's coming in, that 139.17ish. Actually, I guess it's a little bit lower. I adjusted it just a second ago. 139 flat. We're there right now. It is a daily level. There's another one just right above it at 140. With all the push that this has had, if we drop this down to an hourly here, you guys can see that it was a pretty decent mover, and now we're kind of running into sellers, right? The oomph is there. The U.S. market's closed. The pound market 2 hours. I would expect some type of a rollover and retracement back to the downside, most likely into this 137 range, as well as another target down here at 137.86. Again, that's because of the 139 rollover. We just need to kind of break a little bit. So that may be an opportunity for today. Call spreads or anything, but no knockouts. But see what you have binary.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take a look at this quickly. It's a quiet day, but if you're looking for a retracement in here, this is. We've got less than 2 hours before these markets close, and if you take a look at Nadex and the binary options, we're running. We've got some binary options in a half a dozen pairs, and there are a couple of there are some call spreads out here. They're weekly call spreads. There's some of these shorter terms, but I guess you just got to take a peek in the call spreads of the binary options. But again, there's not much time to go here, and you got to make a determination if there's something that you thought might happen and you want to take a shot. I mean, we're right here at it's you call it the double zero, the 139, the one spot 3900. Maybe there's a rollover as the UK winds down and we close down in the next hour and 50 minutes. Something to consider. So, all right, I'm going to let you go ahead and talk a bit about the yen then.
Sure.
Or
yeah, I mean,
anything else you got that's interesting?
Yeah, I'm set up euro dollar to the downside. I'm looking for a Harry Potter break retracement back to the origin of the move. I had it all marked off. It was round, lost it right into this area. Again, coming down, look for a base in this level and drop. Most likely not a today trade. This could be something that we look to snag Nadex prints contracts later tonight. Again, it's an area that we've had buyers. Could you take a bounce off of it? I guess you really could, but at this point, with it running out in less than 2 hours, I'd be looking for some type of a basing, a break below 121.12, a pull back up, and then a push lower. Going across to the dollar yen is another mover. This is also coming up to an area, which is an area that we marked off last week, a higher time frame zone at approximately 105.50-ish, 105.55-ish. And again, all ring is going from low in the curve back high up top. And there's a couple levels setting up there. So I'd like to see this one continue to, the yen to continue to weaken, get a little bit of dollar strength in here, have this push higher. And again, there was a Harry Potter kind of a level, pull back, and then take off. But again, not enough movement from with the U.S. market open for me to jump into a chart. But I'd be looking for that rollover. And then just one last bit in regards to the yen play. Again, I'd be looking for some type of a short. Again, the had such a huge push up. This contract is not open today, but the Aussie dollar is already inside of a short position now that it ran into a 4-hour zone. It dropped, pulled back level, and is now collapsing. So, seeing the yen with this much power, seeing the Aussie dollar at a level where we're seeing sellers come in, the Aussie yen is also looking for some type of a tumble, I believe, back into this lower level where we had a Harry Potter. So that could also be something later on tonight that you look. And there's not a lot of news. There is actually a little bit of Australian news late tonight at 7:30. So, again, we may have some contracts to trade. There may be something to look at tonight if you guys want to try some nighttime trading.
Excellent. All right. Well, listen, it's President's Day here. I know we've only got an hour and 45 minutes left in the markets that we do have open. So we want to kind of cut it quick today. Just a recap, pound strength. Looking for maybe a rollover here in the next hour and 45 minutes. Seeing yen weakness. I guess, and then there's a little bit going on in the Aussie dollar, something to pay attention to. I think the real big takeaway here is let's start thinking about what we want to be looking at maybe tonight, going into tomorrow, the Aussie news, and then start thinking about what you want to be doing for the rest of the week. Wednesday is going to be an interesting day with a lot of economic news. Any questions for Nadex, please email us, customerservice@nadex.com.
And remember, we'll cover that in detail tomorrow.
The and then we got the full blown. So tomorrow is that you're getting a double with us. We'll be doing the quick 15-minute, and then we got the full blown market analysis that goes up for just shy of an hour. Got any questions for Brian? support@keeptradingsimple.com. And clearly, you guys have been emailing him. Please feel free to continue to engage with Brian. He is accessible and available. And with that, want to wish everyone enjoy the holiday day here in the States, or the New Year if you're in China. And we'll catch you again tomorrow morning. I want to wish you all good luck in the markets. Thanks, everyone.